One in five children in the U.S. has a learning disability, undiagnosed. One in five children in the U.S. has a learning disability undiagnosed. 1 in 16 kids in public schools receive special education under the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. 1 in 50 students in public schools receive disability accommodations under the American Disabilities Act, ADA. These include individuals who have a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities, a person who has a history or record of such an impairment, or a person who is perceived by others as having such an impairment. The impairments are not specifically listed. According to the National Center for Learning Disabilities, around 15% of U.S. populations, or 1 in 7 individuals, has a learning disability. Adults with learning disabilities have an employment rate of only 48%, compared to the 72% without disabilities. Parents and other concerned individuals must identify this before children get too far along in the school system. The more years they progress in the school system, the more difficult it is to correct what is wrong. We have failed them before they even get started. Specific learning disabilities cover a wide range of challenges to learning. This category accounts for 35% of those receiving specialized education. These include dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia. Dyslexia is a language processing disorder and is the most common learning disability, accounting for 80% of all cases. Its characteristics are difficulty with speaking, reading, writing, or understanding words. People with dysgraphia struggle to put their thoughts into writing. This condition affects vocabulary, spelling, grammar, memory, and critical thinking. Telltale signs are poor handwriting, letter spacing, spatial awareness, and motor planning. Dyscalculia, also known as math dyslexia. People with dyscalculia struggle with numbers, concepts, reasoning, counting money, reading clocks, mental math, identifying number patterns, and applying mathematical formulas. Learning disabilities have nothing to do with the student's overall intelligence. Many have average to superior intelligence. It is important to realize that people with learning disabilities often excel in other areas, such as science, math, fine arts, and creative fields. Although not learning disabilities, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and autism spectrum disorder, ASD, make learning difficult because they affect executive functions like attention and focus. They may also coexist with learning disabilities. Symptoms may include inattention. Individuals with ADHD may struggle with maintaining focus, organizing tasks, and following through on instructions. Hyperactivity, restlessness, fidgeting, and an inability to stay still are common signs. Impulsivity, acting without thinking, interrupting others, and making hasty decisions characterize impulsivity. ADH symptoms typically start before age 12, and in some cases they may be noticeable as early as 3 years old. While often diagnosed in childhood, ADHD can persist into adulthood. ASD, autism spectrum disorder, is a neurodevelopmental disorder that can affect learning because it can affect language skills, both when listening and speaking. Other symptoms include difficulties with social interactions and repetitive behaviors. Individuals with autism may have learning disabilities as well. Physical disabilities also affect learning. Students with physical disabilities may face challenges with physical access to the classroom, causing them to be late to class and use of bathrooms and libraries. Conditions like cerebral palsy, arthritis, or muscular dystrophy can impair coordination and balance, making it hard to manipulate equipment, write, or use computers. This can affect participation in practical activities like laboratory work or field trips. Students with physical disabilities often experience chronic fatigue and extreme fluctuations in energy levels. This affects their abilities to concentrate and take part in learning activities. In conclusion, educators may need to adjust their teaching methods and materials to accommodate students with physical disabilities. This could include using assistive technology, changing classroom layouts, and providing alternative ways to take part in activities. We'll be back in another 2 weeks for another podcast. Have a great week.